So finally, for the most part, everyone's free and safe for at least the moment, but Luffy is bound and determined to get a ship and get his ass to Ennis Lobby, like now. One Piece chapter 364, Kokoro. Kokoro.
Oh boy. Well, hello my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and water-filled and gates of justice heavy tale of One Piece. Now, our last chapter, of course, saw us with, Luffy and Zoro finally, kind of freeing themselves. Zoro, obviously, with the help of, his sword being tossed to him or handed to him, of course, by Chopper. And then Luffy sort of, found the inner strength once Nami told him that Robin was, in fact, in trouble and was trying to sacrifice herself for them. And he just straight up, just like hulked up and like pushed two buildings apart. However, as they all kind of tried to escape this huge wave coming in from Aqua Laguna, they wound up getting to this great bridge, and everybody's like, they're at the Great Bridge, it's going to be great! And then, as you saw the last panel of it, it was just the Great Bridge was getting overtaken and just crushed and smashed by this wave. So that's where we left off, and that's right where we pick up over here. And everybody's just like, oh my god, they're a goner, they're done, And really, this Aqua Laguna is not something to be taken lightly. I mean, this thing is just, it's... First of all, and it's mentioned in this chapter as well as a couple previous to that when Frankie talks about it, this is the worst Aqua Laguna they've ever had thus far. And it isn't even, it's still coming. It still hasn't hit its head, right? The storm still hasn't crested and pulled back yet. Nonetheless, though, as this bridge gets shattered and it looks like they all get swallowed up over there, all of a sudden somebody's like, oh my god, who's that? Oh, it's Paulie! So we see Paulie, and he went and used his awesome rope lassoing techniques that he's got to actually go and grab them and pull them out from getting dragged back out with the wave, right? Obviously getting pulled out with the water. And, because a lot of people don't realize that the force of water, like when the undertow that pulls people under when they're like at the beach playing and you hear about people that died, it's because the way the water goes and rushes in, and then the way it's rushing in on the top and then it pulls out on the bottom and swirls out, it creates like this vortex that makes it so you can't stand. You would lose your balance. The force of it actually would pull you down and drag you out, Anyway, and this is, 100, 1,000 times that because of the size of this wave. So, anyway, and we know, of course, Luffy can't swim anyway. So Paulie he's able to pull them to safety, I guess you would say. And then, the next several pages is just kind of them, like, coughing and getting their bearings. And really Luffy just kind of saying, hey, listen, this is... Nami goes and fills in everybody on what's going on, Nami fills, obviously, Luffy and Zoro in on what's going on. And, and listen, this is the deal. Sanji's on the train along with, I'm assuming that she explained Usopp and then, of course, Frankie, and that Robin, is of course being, she kind of gave herself up to them to sacrifice herself for them. So basically, it's just like, hey, listen, we got to get a boat, we got to get going there, we got to get whatever. And everybody's like, dude, you're crazy. There's no way you guys can do this. With Aqua Laguna as it is, the sea train, because at first he says, well, is there another train? And he goes, well, it's the only train like it in the world. It isn't like there's a bunch of them running around. There's one sea train, and it's on its way to Ennis Lobby right now. Regardless of it being on its way to Ennis Lobby, it's too crazy. He was saying that, because Paulie says, I could give you the biggest galleon in the world, and it would just get wrecked in these type of waves, So, anyway, and then we wind up getting... I thought it was kind of cool. Nami explains about, Robin's headed for Ennis Lobby, and that can only mean one of two things. It means the Gates of Justice, right? And they're like, the Gates of Justice, what's that? And she's like, now that I heard about Ennis Lobby, I remember, hearing some things about it. And there's this giant courtroom that I guess you pass through as somebody with a bounty on your head, or somebody that was a wanted criminal, somebody that was a known criminal. And as you pass through this courtroom, there's nobody in the courtroom. So there's not actually any court that takes place. It's like, it's just a facade of an actual courtroom, It's a sham of an actual, like, court. Because what they do is then there's these giant gates, these steel doors that you pass through, and once you pass through those cold steel doors, I just like how it was all described. It was great, and it's called the Gates of Justice. There's only one of two places that you can go, and the first is actually Navy Marine headquarters, right? And that's bad news because obviously you've got all the all the big names and all the heavy hitters in the world government in the Navy there, right? And the only other place that you can go to once you go through there is for torture and eventual death, execution, or what have you, in this underwater prison called Impel Down. So that's, you know, that's another thing that we've got going over there too. And if I remember correctly, I thought, you know, as everybody tells me what their favorite arcs are and everything like that, I thought I heard Impel Down before. I thought I've seen it in the comments. I shouldn't say heard. I thought I've seen that before in the comments. So maybe that's eventually where they go to, or maybe that's where they go to after Ennis Lobby. I don't know. All I know is I thought it was pretty interesting to have them actually describe what's going on. And then, you know, so then Paulie goes and explains to him, and he's like, listen, so even if you guys could get there and you did have shit, you're signing your own death warrant. No pirate. You're a known pirate. You wouldn't go to the... This is like walking into the mid... It's like being a known criminal, right? With your face all over wanted posters, the FBI's most wanted list, and walking into the middle of like an FBI building or the White House or something of that nature amongst all these people where you're known for, walking right into the heart of that to try to go and get someone back that's already been detained by that body of government or what have you, by that governing body. So this is the real deal here, you know. They're going right into the mouth of madness by going to Ennis Lobby. It's no joke, you know. I didn't realize all this leading up to it, you know. I didn't know it the entire. I mean, as we see, it's come to light over the last few chapters that, you know, only government personnel are allowed on this island, blah blah blah. But I had no idea until now what it actually was. You know what I mean? So it's basically the gateway to naval headquarters, or to go to Impel Down to be tortured and eventually, you know, killed, executed. So they know that in every minute that they waste is one minute one minute less that Robin has to actually, you know, live and not be tortured and hurt and everything else. So, and it's funny because there's one point too where Luffy's going, he's calling, he's like, "Where's Sanji and Usopp?" And he almost says Usopp, and he's like, "Well, where's Sanji?" So you can tell it's still something that's brewing with him, that's still bothering him as well. And I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that he's still missed by the crew and by the crew's captain, obviously, as well. So, anyway, the chapter winds up ending off with them pretty much saying, "Hey, listen, we're not going to do anything for you. You got to wait till at least morning, blah, blah." So then Luffy all of a sudden just like that, screw that. You know what? If we can't have one, we'll steal a ship, right? Everybody get ready. We're going now. So at the end of the chapter, though, I liked it because then you get Kokoro, and Kokoro's like, "Listen here, you know, kid." He's like, "Oh, you don't understand? Oh, yeah, whatever. I don't understand, blah, 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 and this, that." Okay, listen. Here's the deal, you know, the sea train is what would actually get you there, would be the best chance of getting you there, but the sea train's gone right now. So I like her, you know, so that at the end of the chapter over here, we get, because Luffy's pissed, man. He's just like, "Our crewmate's waiting for us, get out of our way," you know. Anyway, but she winds up saying, she goes, "Come with me, I'll send a sea train out for you." So I don't know if she's got some kind of boat or some kind of ship, because she's like, okay, but that isn't here now, which is why we're taking a ship. If you're so eager to meet your end, come with me. I'll send a sea train out for you. So, anyway, so I'm not sure if she has some sort of like special sea train or something like that that's maybe only used for maintenance to go and repair the tracks, or maybe something that's actually used, you know, by the people at the different switching stations to kind of get around, almost like an employees only, a personnel only type of thing. I have no idea. All I know is that they're going to be heading out and certainly trying to get to Ennis Lobby for Robin. So, my chapter question for you, though, because that's how things end off, brothers and sisters, is really, I guess, you know, because I like this guy, Paulie, and what I'd like to know is, do you think that he's somebody that, you know, that might actually be good to temporarily join up with them? I know that he's kind of been a background character a little bit, but he's been a little more front and center these last few chapters. And do you see him temporarily, at least, teaming up with them, along with Kokoro and whoever else, to actually help them get to Ennis Lobby, or help them somehow sneak into Ennis Lobby, or somehow be able to... Because I really like his powers. I do. I like the guy's powers, and I like the guy a lot now. You know, he kind of reminds me of like a cross between like Smoker and like Wolverine, and I don't know, just very cool type of dude. So that's my chapter question. Leave your answer to that in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next Fun Nation.
Remember to follow me on my other channel as well as Twitter and Facebook and Instagram too.